Holy shit, the world must be ending because Bungie Vision is adding microtransactions. Oh man, stop the presses, drop everything you're doing and head to the nearest bomb shelter because the world is fucking ending as we know. Shit, even the YouTube owner himself had to stop fucking himself for a minute to stop, drop, and roll or something. Now, you guys know how I feel about Destiny by now. You know how I feel about Activision, and will always say they're the greediest bunch of twat bags in video gaming to date. Although Star Citizen's on my watch list for a rant because that company is seriously scamming the shit out of people. But maybe in the future we'll talk about Star Citizen. But for now, we're talking about Destiny. You know how I feel about Bungie Vision now that they fucked up pretty much everything they touch when it comes to this game. And as entertaining and as fun as this game is, it's highly flawed. So you would assume I would tear them a new asshole over microtransactions, right? Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to, because this is the best fucking idea they've come up with to date, and I am not joking about that shit. This new microtransaction system, provided it's done correctly, is one of the best things that could happen to the game, and it's something that will benefit players in the long run. Now hear me out for a minute. Bungie Vision has just announced that they're bringing Tess Everest back to the game because she was a useless bitch for the past year. Oh man, she didn't have shit to give. But anyway, she's coming back as the vendor as part of the Everest Trading Company, whatever the fuck that shit is going to be called, which is going to allow players to purchase microtransactions. Now, I know when people hear that term, they think that a company is trying to bilk you out of every nickel right out of your asshole. And in some cases, plenty of companies have done that. But when microtransactions are done right, it's a damn fine thing. Bungie Vision is stating, and I'm hoping that they stick to this, that the microtransactions are going to be cosmetic items in the game. Minute features that have absolutely no bearing on your gameplay, whether it's a new dance move. I mean, I seriously want the running man or the cabbage patch in this motherfucker. Or whether it's a shader, a custom decal sparrow, whatever the fuck you want. It's a system to give players cosmetic items, not guns, not perks, not challenges or money or anything like that that gives you an advantage in the game or penalizes players who do not purchase these products. People will have the chance to pay real world money, your hard-earned cash, or whether it's your parents' money, your own money from working hard or some shit, or whether you have to give old sweaty men blowjobs so you can do the hammer time hands. It doesn't matter. It's money given to Bungie Vision for useless shit. Most people will look at this as Activision being greedy again, and they're grabbing every dollar possible out of people. And the answer to that is absolutely the greediest fucks of all time are being even greedier. But there comes this report from Kotaku that this system, these microtransactions, are going to be used to fund the future of the game. These cosmetic items that kids sucker their parents into lending their credit cards to them could potentially fund all free DLC in the future. So let's look at this for a moment. If some stupid motherfucker is willing to pay for a dance move or a shader or to make their Titan vagina pretty and pink or whatever the fuck they want to do, and at no point does that affect my gameplay, at no point does this harm or help my gameplay, but it funds me free DLC in the future, I fail to see the issue here. I don't see what the problem is with this model, because this is exactly what players should be rooting for. If you paid full price for everything up to this point, you spent $140. Now imagine if all you had to spend was $60, while dipshits who don't know the value of money continue to pay and fund your free DLC. This is fucking fantastic, and I hope to fuck something like this occurs. I know one of the comparisons that I will always make is Mass Effect 3, and people will point to Mass Effect 3 as the guide for this, but this is just a little bit different. Mass Effect 3 allowed you to purchase things and items in order to get gear and shit like that. You were able to buy packs with real world money in order for your chance at RNG. Essentially, it wasn't a full pay to win. You couldn't just go out and buy the greatest gun in the game. You bought a chance to get the gun, but it still was a pay to win model for what the co-op was in Mass Effect 3. Now, Mass Effect 3 obviously has a different structure than Destiny, mainly because there's no player versus player. But in order to get your guns or get your characters, whatever the hell it is, you had to buy packs with in-game money, in-game transactions, or real world money. But as long as Destiny keeps microtransactions away from guns, away from armor, away from whatever the fuck you want it is, this is absolutely fantastic. As long as you can't buy a Hawk Moon or the Skull of Ahamkara or a sword, I am perfectly fine with this. As a matter of fact, I fully endorse this idea. Bungie Vision has done some scumbag things and some really cocksucker things when it comes to price gouging their players, but for the first time, there is a potential revenue system that makes sense for players. Instead of people getting left out because they didn't purchase the Taken King, instead of friends getting left behind because they didn't want to ascend to the new DLC, now you have a free player model to keep people together. We pay our $60 for the disc-based game, which was Destiny 1. We're gonna pay $60 for the next disc-based game, which is probably gonna be Destiny 2 when that shit comes out. And then you're gonna have all these little shitty items to buy as microtransactions, and when Bungie Vision makes enough money suckering gullible people into optional purchases, they could in turn give us free content. This is the model that all games should be following, not just Destiny, not just all shooter games. And to be honest, there are a few games that people will point to that follow this exact model, and it works. As long as you have plenty of shit to give players. It works as long as you have good paid content that will interest players. I mean, Destiny dance moves are not going to set world records in sales or some shit like that, but imagine throwing in the Crip Wall. Imagine giving us the Carlton for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And actually, I believe Uncharted 3 used that a few years ago when they released that fucking game. Am I right? They used to have microtransactions, that motherfucker, 99 cents for a dance or whatever the hell, whatever the fuck, man. Uncharted 3 was fantastic. Nobody argued about microtransactions there. Why? Because it was done correct. Imagine moonwalking with a hunter, or imagine the warlock doing the worm on the floor. People would buy that shit. Now, I won't, but I know people will gobble this shit up, because if there's one thing that Luke the Asshat Smith was right about, is that people will throw their money at these screens in hopes of getting decent shit. They see it as a status symbol. They see it as pride, that they purchased everything Destiny has to offer. It's like, ooh, 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 look at me, look at me. I bought 25 fucking dance moves in Destiny because I'm a baller like that. Yeah, fuck you, man. And buying all 25 comes with a free Bungie Vision money dildo right up your ass, motherfuckers, to thank you. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. So anyway, for those of you hating on microtransactions, don't. It's actually going to be a better concept in the long run, as long as they stick to cosmetic items. You don't have to buy this. You don't have to get your new dance move. You don't have to get a pink shader. Nobody gives a fuck what you look like. Nobody gives a shit if you bought a dance move or whatever. But for those that do buy it, they're going to be funding free content for you in the future. Yeah, Activision's price gouging the shit out of us, but at the same time, they could also be launching content free in the future. Now, if they happen to not launch this free content in the future, yeah, then I'm gonna fucking rant about that shit. But for now, this could be a step in the right direction. If they do things right, they could potentially fund Destiny's lifespan throughout this 10-year project or whatever the fuck it is. These microtransactions alone could pay for all that free DLC. We know they made a shitload of money when the game released, so you would have to think, in theory, on top of the capital investment, on top of all the money they made in revenue, on top of all this shit they made off of DLC, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of money to spend, and they're making a lot of money, so you gotta figure all of this money can lead to free DLC. And I'll tell you right now, free DLC is the best damn price for me. Anyways, I'm sure people wondered if I was going to rant or tear them up a new asshole on this one, but I'll tell you right now, I do like this concept. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all the good shit, and I'll see you guys in the next video.